cloud. Hi, welcome everyone. So this is our conversation for installment 17, chapters 130 to 137. And Rick had texted me yesterday saying he will not be able to make this meeting because he's kind of settling into a new job and he had some meetings with the Catholic Church. I think he's moving to a private school system. So he's got meetings today and we'll wait and see how his schedule settles down and what he'll be able to do. I don't know. So I'm afraid you're just stuck with me today. So welcome. And please carry on. Whoever would like to share, we're talking about this last installment and anything else you'd like to talk about. Welcome to Paula. Paula, would you like to just say a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hi all. Sorry if I was such a pest, Christina. Just frustrating. I did just get an email with the information on it. Thank you.
From Zoom or the one I sent you?
From, not directly, no, from you. I never got anything from Zoom. No, I have not. Anyway, that's beyond, we're beyond that now. And I had, well, I myself personally, I've been involved over the years with the Course of Miracles, the Course of Love, a few other things in my Unity Church. And so I'm very much into, the oneness of all we are and the power that we have within ourselves as far as to bring peace and love and joy into the world. So when I first received, somebody sent me the original mailing for the journey. It was Chris Suschek. Yeah, I was very thrilled and I started to read it from day one. I have every chapter there was. And then I was glad to share it with my friend Bill, who was very happy to get it. So yes, I've enjoyed reading it immensely. I hesitated to join on initially because, like I said, I'm involved with other groups, and I didn't want to come to the point of being overloaded. Like it's just so much in the time in the day, and then COVID hit. We've all been with that. So, but I am, speaking with Reverend Bill recently, and he said how much he's enjoying it. And I said, maybe I should join. And so, because I feel we're of like mind. So I can feel the energy already. And I met you on Joe Kill, Christina, on Joe's Course of Love calls, which that book just sings to my heart. Being a student of the Course of Miracles for years, that always went to what I called my intellect. But the Course of Love goes to my heart. And that's where I experience it. So, and reading these chapters in the journey to the unknown has been speaking to me a lot. And I'm involved with Sebastian Brake, others. So it's like all about love and listening to Jesus and holy, and hearing Mother Mary. I mean, I was raised a Catholic, so I do appreciate, Mother Mary and Jesus and whatever. So thank you for accepting me into your group. I can't hear you. Did I lose my...
Where are you, Paul? I said, it's a pleasure to have you. I was wondering where you're located.
In New Jersey.
That's Irene, isn't that where you are?
No, New York.
New York. Sorry.
I was originally, Irene, I was born and bred in New York. I'm a New Yorker.
Nice.
Great. Always at heart.
Great. No, I remember emailing with you back a few months ago as well. So nice to have you here.
I'll start. I've been loving the letters that we get. We're up to 15. That's very nice. This election thing, yesterday I did exactly what I did on September 9th when our sky was bright orange and it was dark all day. I turned on the YouTube on a big screen TV and watched these beautiful musical videos. I mean, meditation videos with beautiful scenery. And I did ironing and just got a bunch of projects done to keep myself busy. And now we don't have an answer. And whenever a twinge of fear would come up, I just got trust. And I thought, this is so true. It just is, it's like too many of us are really kind of tuned in to have it not become the most benevolent outcome. We don't know exactly what that is and how that will work for us. And we don't need to know, but we just need to trust. And so that was the most immediate thing, is about trusting. And it just brings me right back and aligned, and then I feel comfortable. The other thing, the other one, which I just lost for some reason, is, here we go, is expect the unexpected. And then not only will they show up, but we're supposed to be showing up on other people's stages. So the world you want, this is what the second or third, or at least the second. And I tuned into that, and it was a Zoom meeting. And then I was almost going to get out of it, but I basically was told to sit still and listen. And then we got into breakout groups. And in the breakout group, we were just asked a couple things. And I responded about, just about requesting the most benevolent outcome to a situation, because that has helped me so much this past year, 2 years. And so I mentioned that. And then when the breakout groups were over, the one that was leading my breakout group, whatever, and there's some really nice things said in that, repeated that again about requesting the most benevolent outcome. And I was, it wasn't proud. It wasn't proud that they did that. I kind of was told that that's why I was sitting there. That's why I was in that Zoom meeting, is so that I could bring that there. And the fact that they, I'm gonna say, latched onto it and repeated it. And then not only the woman that was in the, being in charge of that breakout group, the people in charge repeated it as well before it was over. So I really felt that I was divinely guided and where I needed to be, and said what needed to be heard. And it's been very comfortable, very comfortable. So I just wanted to share that. And hi, Jacques. What time of the day is it over there? No, can't hear you. You're on mute.
11 at night. Unmute, Jack, unmute.
I'd like to share something.
Probably 11
The
p.m. I think.
different.
Sorry, go ahead, Irene.
Oh, this is a different thing than Judy was saying, but this came to me yesterday, like a bolt out of the blue, like I didn't know this before. Plus, I was talking with someone and they said to me, "Oh, I have forgiven that," and I said, just, I said, well, that's a really good thing. And, I was going to start off on all the positive things about having forgiven that. And then the person went into this great big, excited, negative, re-talking about the thing that they had forgiven. and and I was so mad at that person and blah, blah, blah. And I just sat there. I didn't say anything. I was very good. I didn't say anything. And I thought, how many times have I thought in my head, I have forgiven that. And then I have rehearsed the whole story all over again in my own head. And I thought, Irene, if you say you have forgiven it, that means it goes. You then don't talk about it forever in your own head. You don't bring up all those reasons why you were upset in the first place and and all of that. So, so I'm going to see how well I do with this. That was it.
I'd like to speak about the benevolence that Julie brought up. In my mind, benevolence is within me. It has nothing to do with what's happening outside. If I have a benevolent mind, everything turns out benevolent. It's an automatic thing. It has nothing to do with circumstances or other people. And I feel that every day a little better than the day before.
Well, there is only one of us.
Right?
So who am I requesting it from? But my higher self or
Mhm.
Christ God consciousness?
And as within, so without, always. It's very hard to remember that, but that's the truth. It arises from within, and it is what is expressed on the outside. And the other, the part to do with benevolence and holding that energy, holding that space, is to remember, I think it came through in one of the messages too, but it's in chapter 133, after it says, expect the unexpected, because not only will you be showing up, but so will we. It says the entire plot can change. And I think one of the messages said, don't take things for granted because everything can change in an instant. And that is the miracle. I mean, of Course in Miracles taught us that holy instant of being completely present, you know? And that's kind of where I am, because I feel as if the most benevolent outcome would involve some aspect of that. It isn't going to be fixing up what's breaking down, but something dramatically different.
Yeah, that, Christina, as you were saying that came up, that kind of landed with me a few times, that, you know, things can just disappear just like that. And it was something about that just, you know, hung around. But one of the things that it just, I find myself just very, being in this group and getting these messages through that just very kind of comforting things happen. I mean, like today, for example, getting that email today when it message which says, you know, when the fire is dim, put on some logs, and when the flames are blazing, relax and enjoy the comfort that your soul, in concert with other souls, provides to your body. And it says, because you are a soul, know that it is the one calling for more. It is the one calling for more logs. And today was just a glorious day. It took me by surprise. It was, you know, I read this, and, you know, walked out into the park, and for the life of me, the amount of times that I've huffed and puffed and tried to be present and connected and all the rest of it, and there, you know, just walked into the park today, and it was just the light and everything was just very, very connecting. And you know, and I read this afterwards, you know, and you know, it says, because you are a soul, noted it is the one calling. It is the one calling for more logs. And you know, and this little line, it says, you're each becoming more proficient in knowing what your soul wants versus what your small self wants. And that's been helpful. You know, am I in the ego mind? Am I in the spirit mind? You know, it's come up a few times, and it's kind of helpful, these kind of guidances that come through. You know, I'm constantly pleasantly surprised by them, because they probably with everyone, they touch everybody differently. And you know, the last set of messages that came through, this, I forgot what it was, 130, what number was it? Whatever the number was. Yeah.
130 to 137 were the latest.
Yeah, the latest, which was, and you know, the title is, can you see that your journey is only just beginning? And yeah, you know, it's like, and there's some kind of company coming in, because I didn't really have, I would say, there's a stronger awareness now of, actually there are beings around, yeah, that are helping out in so many kinds of ways. visible and invisible, and I'm becoming more and more conscious of it. And it's almost like I'm feeling, I'm hearing, I'm listening more, and I'm in almost like daily dialogue with whatever. And there's some communication coming through that's, it's just taken me by surprise how it's kind of guiding me. And, for example, today, I've been worried the last few weeks because I had, like we all have, I thought I had slipped a disc, which I might have done again due to some excessive activity. So it brought up a lot of 30 years ago in operation, bad experiences came up, and I could see that going on in the mind. But it was just amazing that out of just very quickly within a few days, I mean, I asked, Spirit for help in this. And just there was a lot of help at hand. There was this alternative treatment that looks non-invasive, egoscopy therapy that looks very interesting. And the doctors call me to get a scan within days, which never happens. It usually takes months. You get on a waiting list, So there's all these kind of little things that I'm finding myself being grateful for. And there's a real aliveness with this. So there's something going on with the resonance here, and there's something going on with me, and I'm really okay with it.
That's great. Yeah. That thing about living in two places at once, that is, you're not you, you're we. That seamlessness, the seamlessness of the spirit world and our world is feeling more and more tangible. And I was sort of noting how interesting the timing is that this is being felt by us all, because the 31st of October is All Souls Eve, Halloween, Samhain, all the different names for this celebration when the veils are the thinnest the whole year long, allowing souls to be in contact. Well, my sense is that the veil is gone, and that it's up to each of us to kind of expand into that space that's there to communicate. It's that expansiveness. When I contract, when I'm worried and scared and not in the present moment, I don't feel I have that connection, but just a breath, breathe in the light. I mean, I love that. The message about soaking up spirit in the first thing in the morning, which I think was the previous installment, talked about that. Chapter 1, 29, I think. So that's can be done at any moment of the day with 1, 2, 3 deep breaths. Fill up with that light of the soul, and you feel that again. So thank you, Kevin.
Hi, this is Paula. We mentioned the breath, and when some of the conversations, especially with Jude, what's going on, the uncertainty in the world is I haven't watched the media, the news in 5 years. I refuse to buy into it. I just refuse. It's all negative, and I don't want that in my life. But like everybody else, someone picks up a phone, they call. So I'm well aware what's going on in the world, but I won't allow myself to sit there and be absorbed by it. It's just, I won't do it. I love myself too much to allow that negativity to embrace, to filter in. But it comes in, of course it does. And what I find, what's happened with me, I find I go to bed, retire for the evening, and usually I'm in pretty good spirits. Like tonight I have a Course of Love call, and I try not to take things into the evening with me, into my sleep state, but it's there. It's in our subconscious, and I'll wake up with a start and feel like this black doom is all around me. And what you said, Christina, and it's what I do, is what I did this morning about 4. I just start saying God, God, God. And I started to do the breathing. And with every breath, it was like a release, a release. And then I have a little prayers I say that calm me down. And I went off into a pleasant sleep. But it is the body that we believe we are in, this vehicle, that for me contains all this stuff. But if I really relax into the truth that this is not real, and I listen for the voices that speak to me in so many ways. It doesn't necessarily mean I hear this booming voice. I mean, we all get messages. It could be from a song, a poem, something you read. That word always gets through to us somehow. And I've had in times of meditation where I've heard, just recently, I was doing some silent stuff, just really relaxing into the silence. And I heard, stop running. That's all I heard, stop running. And that, because I always feel like I'm running from something or have to run. So, but I listen and I listen. And I did, Bill forwarded on to me all the messages that Rick had received from Mother Mary and, Jesus. So I believe we're spoken to in so many ways. And when in times of uncertainty, I think we really have to be diligent and listen. And if I'm fortunate enough to hear, and I have, unfortunately, tinnitus, where I get this ringing, but it's a different, I get these pings every once in a while. I can't, like if somebody pings something to me, like, wake up. Has nothing to do with that hum that I'm used to behind my ear. And someone says to me that you're getting a message. There's a message there. Pay attention. So they're coming. And yet they're there. It's like a ping, and it zips through, like, we're here. We're around you.
Right.
and I laugh. It's great,
And that's so beautiful the way you described that. And what is happening, what I'm feeling is that as we do that more and more, the body is transfiguring, the body is transforming and becoming a light body. I love that Journey actually uses the word light worker.
Yeah.
I think 3 times so far, including once in this installment. And
Yes.
that's like a very woo-woo phrase that I haven't used because it's only in those other websites that I go to, but hadn't talked about in the Course of Love community about the transformation, of the body, that our DNA is transforming, that we are becoming, the vehicle is able to carry more and more light because we're becoming crystalline bodies, light bodies. So yeah, and that tinnitus thing is actually one of the things that's been going on for years. And it is supposed to be a symptom of frequencies entering your body and doing something.
Yes.
And it's I get loud noises and stuff. And then this year, the strangest things. And sometimes there's not much, and the other times it's very, very, very serious. But yeah, anyway, I love everything you said. Thank you, Paula. I'll make sure Rick adds you to his list so that you get the messages correctly.
I appreciate that.
It's interesting what Paula was saying, because I get tinnitus, and I was listening to John Mark a few years ago, and he confirmed it. Someone was asking, I'm getting this tinnitus, and he confirmed it. It's your connection, your song to the universe, to the sound of the universe, and it was really such a relief to a lot of people that were listening to that, that actually had interpreted tinnitus as something torturous, and actually it's your tune almost. I think he said something along that.
Right, your unique sound frequency, light frequency.
Yeah.
And yet you're really connecting on that level. I don't know, your nervous system or whatever it is, but it was really reassuring.
Yeah.
Well, that's very reaffirming to hear, reassuring. For years, I've heard that the tendinitis coming up from time to time, and I can't help but wonder now if that's part of what's unfolding, but I readily accept it. I just want to touch base over this last week. I so celebrated, the note that came out that suggested that we just stay away from all the news media during this time. And I usually stay in touch with that regularly. I just to keep an eye on things and watch what's going on in that regard. But I took that up, and yesterday stayed away from the TV, stayed away from any of the news, and just went on about the day. Had more time in meditation, but also we've got a new four-legged family member, sized dog that spent a great amount of time on a nice hike through some of the mountains in the river area here in California throughout yesterday. But I had also decided, well, I will check in around 10 o'clock last night, see what's going on with that, with the whole election. And during that time, I found myself troubled, found myself worked up and energized about what I was hearing, but did the right thing and went to bed and released it. And throughout the evening, throughout the night, I recall waking up at times and just recognizing, accepting what is, accepting whatever is happening in that regard. And when I recognize where we are, what we're involved in here, and what I'm involved in terms of this activity in whatever form it's going to be taking, to simply accept it. And getting up this morning, I was in that state, and
Lo and behold.
I checked the news once again and found myself just very accepting, very open, very willing to go with whatever the turnout is going to be. Very grateful for that, and just grateful for what we're doing, what we're finding here, and recognizing the guidance that we have, the support that's coming through for us. So it's been quite a week in that regard. I did have one note that I shared. I think I touched on it. I gave a Sunday service by Zoom, a recorded Zoom on a church out here in California, that something that I've learned in Unity from years earlier about just recognizing that any negative thoughts, any fear-based thoughts are contributing to having occur what I don't want to have occur. So I made that the central point of a talk I was giving on Sunday, and then on a Facebook message I sent out yesterday morning, just to people to lovingly just recognize and focus on the good, focus on what it is that what our desire is, what our intention is in whatever matter is, and to turn in that direction. So I need to teach what I learn. I got to dwell and watch that all day yesterday in that regard. Yet here we are, and on we go with whatever is unfolding for us next. And this sense of accepting has been wonderful to celebrate that and be with my wife and our new family member throughout this morning. Thanks. I'm complete.
It really comes down to a matter of choice, right? We get to choose. And I think Journey is a blueprint of how we need to proceed, and an offering to draw more and more into the other world, into the world of spirit, and into the world of who we truly are, right? And so it's laying that foundational path of love. There's only love, unconditional love, which we're called to be and do. The path of love and the one heart. You know, there's there's one heart, like we're one heart. What I heard you saying, Bill, sort of as counterpoint or counter to what Judy started out with, to to have the benevolent outcome. And as Jacques kind of reiterated, it's where it is in our heart, like it comes from within, right? I can remember being kind of chastised for giving to this certain charity, and did they need it? And I said, God doesn't see, it's about my heart. It's about me wanting to give it, right? So it is the starting point, or the place where we make this choice. But journey is really feeding us, putting the carrot sticks out there. I mean, we are getting messages from Mary. We're getting messages from the Cadre of Souls. We're getting messages from Jesus, from this, we're to make it become more our reality, that place where we want to be. But, listening to all of you, your stories, we can, in the body, Maya has a strong, strong pull. Things can affect us. I think we started out with prepare for the unexpected. We can lose everything. Look at Job. He lost everything, but God said, yeah, but you still have me. And Journey, in this last installment, said you can even lose union. We can lose being connected, being joined in union. We can lose that. And that's about going in and out of that holy instant, or being pulled. And our bodies will, even sometimes I think in my mind, no, I'm fine, yet I'm feeling agitated. So I have to look at that, right? It's something's not aligned there, because it's so easy for us to go back into those old patterns, or be how we've been for so long in the mind, and in those patterns of behavior that resulted from it before we unlearned, before we connected at the heart. But Journey is just taking us one step further, not more than one step. It's taking us deeper and deeper and deeper into the unknown, but deeper to the reality of what it has to be for us. We've been called, right? We've been called to do this journey, and to be examples and demonstrate unconditional love. It says in here, we're going to be the flashlight. And I'm thinking, oh, how dark is it going to be? You only use flashlights when it's really dark, right? And it does talk about light on chat 137. Christina, wherever you are, whether you're standing or sitting, allow the light from our world to fill every cell of your body. And that's what we've been going through since Halloween, this ascension into the light, and being filled with the light, and knowing that our body is becoming that crystalline light body. But it does refer to light, talks about the light. I've got that as light meditation, so I can review it daily and remind myself. Because the further we go into the journey, the further we embrace, the more we embrace. And it says there's practices. It says you will be surprised to find out that you might be listening to us. You might be hearing us as if we're right there. Wherever you go, we're there. You're being us. So that makes my heart sing. That gives me joy. But I was agitated a couple of hours ago. But it is that pull and that struggle. But I believe that journey is pulling us further and further and further into our truth, to our love, to our one heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just love that. I mean, when you talked about chapter 137, when I read that, it was like, oh my God, they're talking about the divine ray and these different rays of light. That's been so much in my field for decades. It comes from ancient wisdom about the rays and the different colors and the meaning. But I've never seen it in a spiritual book like this. Course of Miracles, Course of Love, and now Journey is actually talking about. And I put the questions to live by in the chat. And the question for 137 that I extracted says, are you willing to be still and find and experience your own divine light? because it is no different
Yes.
to the light
Mm.
of the beings that are, seamlessly with us. That flow is, it's like plugging into a socket. It's there.
Yes.
The air around us is filled with them, just as it's filled with, all kinds of waves, electromagnetic waves. And
I think there's reference like too about our power with them, and that's our power. In the Catholic Church, we used to call the Holy Spirit. One of the reference to it was the light of truth.
yes,
The light of truth. So, what am I trying to say? We are light. We are light beings. I think, doesn't it say in this? Oh, it has been your own divine light. It has been called the Holy Spirit, your true self, the divine ray, just as you
Right.
said, Christina.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they repeat it again. I think it was in chapter 136 that they need us
Yes.
Yes.
as much as we need.
We need them.
It's really a seamless collaboration. It's the ultimate collaboration.
Yes. And we're a team, it says,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then it does talk about merging our two states together in chapter 137 as well. You live in such a noisy, chaotic, noisy world with chaotic sound coming from every direction. We're talking about sound and tinnitus being frequencies, right? Vibrational frequencies, sound frequencies. And it says, how can you merge the two states of being? You are becoming more and more like us. I guess that's what I was just going on about, what Journey is calling us to do. So we are transfiguring, we are transforming, and we have to trust, like I think Judy said.
Because it is unknown. That's what's so exciting about it. And terrifying at the same time for a lot of
Exactly.
people,
So that's why we can slip
Literally
back
one
into
moment.
that fear, and that fear is a strong pull still. But we've got, like, we've won. I mean, we've won we've won the election. We've won. There's nothing else. We're the winners in spite of what goes on out there, right? We've already won. Amen. Thank you for listening.
And Bill, I wanted to say that I've not watched the news since yesterday, 6 o'clock, when I just kind of grabbed the national news, for a few minutes, but I have no idea what's happening. However, when I do watch the news, I simply use it as an opportunity to bless.
Yeah.
I sit there, and sometimes I'm amused. I have to say, I use humor quite a lot. I just laugh about things, not in a way like I'm laughing at somebody or being derisive of somebody, but just being amused at the way things are perceived and interpreted, but amused in a benign way, put it that way.
To just add on to what Maureen said, we've already won. Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's no winning and losing.
No.
It's all one whole. So winning and losing don't mean anything in non-duality. We simply are, and so it is.
I so enjoyed, like it says in chapter 37, the light. And light is always, like, even from day one with the Course of Miracles, our function here on this earth is to bring light. And that's what I've been holding to during all this whole election era, whatever, that my function is to be the light. So I keep myself, I try to just focus on being a light. I call myself a light bringer. That's what I've been calling myself.
Does
A
somebody
light
have a radio or
bringer.
something going on?
Yeah, something's going
Can
on.
somebody check if they have something playing in the background, because we can hear it.
I
That's
know.
it. It's gone. Thank you. Go ahead, Judy. You raised your hand.
So
Unmute.
I was,
I
reading.
was just about that noise in the background. That's
Oh, okay, sorry, Paula. Go ahead.
Yeah, that last paragraph in 137, which really struck me when I read it the other day. This is what you really are, to be in close identification with this light while you are in form is known as the elevated self of form.
Right, right.
That spoke to me, like, here we are in an elevated self of form. can stay in that light in our God conscious mind and share with our brothers and sisters and see them. And I love, you know, what he said, they were saying about smile, like when you see, and, you know, ironically, I said, I love to smile. I really do. But with a mask on, I could see our smiles anymore. I felt very sad about that.
Well, you can
I
see
try
it
to
in your
smile
eyes.
with my eyes, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like that. And it's like, because I love to smile, you know, but all whatever. And to say hello to someone, or when you see somebody walking down the street and they look so solemn, and just say, I always knew you never know how you've changed that person's life. Because I know what a smile does to me. You know, when I'm walking around and someone smiles, it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's what this was saying to me. And I said, yes, I willingly will do to
Right.
bring the light, because that's our purpose.
Yes.
But, you know, to bring the light to the darkness,
Mhm.
and it'll be gone.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the truth is that new earth cannot be birthed except through us, through our bodies.
That's right.
Because these beings need our bodies. So that's why the body is being transformed, so that it can carry that light through us into the world. So
Mhm.
yeah, but
The
speaking of the
elevator.
masks, you know, Paula, it's like my family laugh at me because for years, you know, sometimes I mean, I smile just like you. I love smiling at people, but sometimes I'll do this thing with my eyebrows, you know, when I'm looking at someone, instead of just smiling, I go like that, you know, just a little twitch with my eyebrows, which are pretty
Try that
scary
one.
anyway. And now I can still do that. And your eyes are smiling. People can tell whether you're
That's right.
smiling
You
or
can
not.
smile with your,
I-
that's a true
yeah.
smile when you see it coming to the eyes. Yes.
Anyway, so who would like to share who hasn't spoken yet? Irene, Jamuna, you joined us too. Nice to see you. Judy, anybody?
I could share one more thing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. This popped into my mind as someone was speaking, so it's kind of a cute idea. You know, and people say, well, put it in God's hands or leave it in God's hands. And you know where God's hands is? At the end of your arm.
It's a both and, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Yes, very true, very true. Thank you, Irene.
Doc, come on. We haven't seen you in a couple weeks. What's going on?
Well, it's very late here. It's almost midnight now. I just wanted to share that a few years ago with a friend, she was saying very few people smile on the street. And I said, let's do an exercise. Let's you and I walk 1 hour and smile at everybody. And we realized that at least 90% of the people smile back. If you don't see the smiles, it's probably because you're not smiling. If you're smiling, people answer back. It works.
There's the old song, when you smile, the whole world smiles with you. Yeah.
And when they
Yes,
don't
Jock.
smile back, you just bless them and keep going,
Yes.
because that happens too.
I
Yeah,
found,
I'm inspired to put a smiley face, or at least the smile on my black mask. I'm going to do that because I like to smile at people. And Jacques, it's so nice to see you. And thank you for all your sharings that you do through the email system, and you post on Facebook. So we know you're as active and busy as ever and alive and well. And I love it. Thank you.
So glad to be back.
Mhm.
isn't it great that we don't have to wear masks while we're in front of a Zoom picture? We get caught up here. What I've found has unfolded for me over, I guess, the last couple of years while fooling around with the Course of Love is wherever I go, the one-liners are there waiting. Whatever situation, whatever we're involved in, there's some opportunity, something to be said just lighten things up. The people, they're working in a store or just passing on the street. I was walking with our dog, and we were coming across another guy walking with his dog, and they're both bigger dogs. All right, so there's a question of what's going to be happening with them when they meet one another and what have you. And as we passed one another and nothing happened, I just turned back to him. I said, well, here's our peaceful passing. It works. Just be ready for any instant. Thanks. I'm complete.
It just, what came up for me this week was, again, there's one of the chapters which says, how do you express your godliness, as you were just speaking? And, it just touches you every now and again, because I love the way, the earthiness of the wording here, but it's the training involved, which I'm finding myself. Like it says, picture yourself walking on a beach without a care in the world. And it's, it can land very quickly. There's not like some deep meditation or breathing or prayer. You can just very quickly, the way these words are put together, very gently be comforted. And the other thing I noticed was this, what it was saying, the messaging was that you're walking along a beautiful day, and it's, I think it's a sound guy. I don't know what that sound is, but it also talks about noticing other people. You haven't got a care in the world, but noticing the people as you walk around. What they've got a distress or they're. And what it was showing me was it was taking me outside myself. It showed me how much I'm still involved with a certain amount of my own thinking. So it catches me reading these this journey into the unknown, and it's very skillful art teaching in such a way. Really, I love it. But just walk along the street without a care in the world, just to give myself that opportunity. Yeah, come on, for a few minutes.
And wherever you are, you can bring back a memory like that, or imagine that you are walking on a beach, and that produces the same kind of effect of peace and relaxation in your body. In fact, when I read that particular chapter, I noticed the similarity between the exercises used by the Heart Math Institute to begin heart coherence, which is to imagine a positive, beautiful experience, and to bring your heart rate into this rhythm that is the opening of the heart and mind being able to function well together. I mean, they do it at a level which is used in businesses, and they've been around a long time. And but the New Age people that I've been following say that heart coherence, in the way you've just described it, Kevin, about imagining and feeling, that beauty and flow and positivity and being outside of yourself, being able to be with other people too, is the beginning. Heart coherence is the first step to that 12-strand DNA activation. Without the heart coherence, the Course of Love talks about it as heart and mind joined, the healing of the heart and mind, and that settling into wholeheartedness is the beginning. So in different language, just like I think in this last installment, the Holy Spirit, the true self, and the elevated self of form are progression we've been taken through with these three texts, and Journey says it all comes together. That's what it's been all about.
It's mastery, really, and it's just very beautiful. I mean, and what is this? I mean, I want to go into it, right, but just you said 12-strand DNA. What is that's not a head thing? You talk about the heart, and that's the first step of it. I didn't understand that. Yeah.
Well, it's heart coherence enables that to happen. And it's not a head thing at all, actually, Kevin, because the 2 strands are a head thing. That's the physical body. That's what scientists have been looking at. But the other strands, as far as I understand, are quantum. They're not. They're multidimensional. and they're not measurable in the lab the way they've measured 2 strands. Okay, now you can write me off as a crazy woo-woo person, but I've been
You're going to
paying
get
attention.
you're going to get an email from me.
And I will send you a thing to view to watch about DNA activation.
Yeah.
I can send you a little, yeah.
I'll give it a go, I'll give it a go,
Can you imagine me talking about this in the Course of Love group? I've kind of been in the closet about these kinds of things, but I've been weaving quantum science together with A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love for a very long time, over a decade. So in myself. And the only time I spoke about it was when John Mundy invited me to do a seminar. And so that video is available. But
Christina,
Well,
I'll try anything.
Yeah, that's why you're here, Christina, or we'd all be written off. We're all here together. But as you spoke, Kevin, I'm thinking we're called to godliness, but we're called to see our own godliness, right?
right.
We have to remember who we are. I think that's key when I'm trying to say we're called more and more to see, that the light part of ourselves, that spirit, the true essence of who we are. And it's remembering who we are, and we go in and out of forgetfulness and remembrance. But our journey is really, to me, taking us there. It's showing us. It's a course of practice, right? A course of practice of being the love, walking that path of love with Mary beside us or as us, and also Jesus, the cadre of souls, and the team. We're on a team, it says. We are that team. We just, have to remember who we are.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And remember that we're imperfectly perfect in every moment. Every moment we're new, and free ourselves to be who we are in the moment, exactly as we are. Just as we're asked to love what's in front of us, warts and all.
Yeah,
I love that.
Christina, thank you. You always remind me of that.
So, Kevin, I love you, warts and all. Because you happen to be right in front of me on this.
I really appreciate you loving my warts,
That's the best part.
My ears are just ringing. I can't tell you.
That's
This
great.
one is going like, woo. Thank you.
And we're feeling it. We're all sharing in that, Paula. Thank you.
I'm feeling it.
I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry I got a little grumpy about all those emails. It was like, oh my God, I've got too many things.
I was so desperate. I was like, I felt like
I know.
They don't want me.
I did. I sent you my thing too, but I'll try and remember the next time I get into a technical talk to find out if there's a way to unregister you so you can register again.
Okay, thank you.
Irene too got into that problem, losing the email they sent or whatever. Yeah. And Jack, I remember you were sending me a bunch of emails. Is he gone? Oh no, is he gone? Oh, there you are. You sent me a bunch of emails saying, well, I'm not getting a regular Zoom link. What's going on? I said, keep the one you got that you registered, for God's sake. So thanks for your patience with me, everybody.
Oh my heavens, Christine, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Well, and the team.
And certainly it landed in my lap. That's true. That's true. It only did thanks to A Course of Love and A Course in Miracles, and goes back decades. The journey has been long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been ongoing forever.
Yeah, lifelong journey for me.
Yeah.
Well, anybody else to share before we wrap up? It's getting on for almost 6 o'clock, and Jack must be getting very tired.
Somewhere in these pages, we're at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, the hero's journey. What do you think? Is it over? No way. I love that. Yeah, you're right. I like that very much. I think it says it's going to continue. Hero's journey will continue in a spectacularly magical way
Woohoo!
Woohoo! On that note.
Hang on, we're in for a ride.
Yeah, spectacularly magical. Remember that. That's who we are, okay? All right, loves.
Good night.
Love
Thank
you
you.
all.
Oh, this was
Thank
great.
Remember who you
Thank
are.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.
I
Thank you,
so
everyone.
enjoyed
I
this.
love you.
Thank you, Christina. Thank
Love you.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Bye.
Love you.
See
Bye,
you
Jacques.
again. Bye
Take
now.
care.
Have a
Bye,
good day.
Kevin.
Bye.
Bye,
Get some
Bill.
sleep, Jack.
Paula.
Yeah.
Oh.